I want to welcome everyone to the Be Greater platform. I'm blessed to have my brother Brandon Smith here today, who is the executive director of the Forestry and Fire Recruitment Program. It's a phenomenal organization that is really standing at the intersection of ensuring that folks that have paid their debt to society and also gained the right skills to be competitive in the labor market actually have the opportunity to do that.
Hmm.
There are individuals that are fighting wildfires right now that are incarcerated, that leave the incarceration system seeking economic opportunity, mobility, and power, have the skills to be a firefighter that have been shut out. And Brandon and his organization has been focused on that. Brandon, can you just tell us a little bit about yourself, who you are, where you come from, and your why you do this work?
Yeah. Um, Thank you, Jeff. It's good to be here. So my name is Brandon Smith. I am the co-founder and executive director of the Forestry and Fire Recruitment Program. As Jeffrey mentioned, our whole goal is just to go help folks become wildland firefighters, hop into the forestry, wildfire sector because it's a growing sector. I'm from Los Angeles County. I'm from Altadena, California, north of Pasadena, around the Rose Bowl. Um, it's interesting my connection to this work. I came into this work because I lived in the situation. I have a lived experience. I had spent some time with some challenges in my life and ended up being incarcerated. And during that time, I worked as a firefighter. While working as a firefighter, I grew to love the career. And it was just so challenging for me to go figure out how to go do it once I came home. And so that's where FFRP came from. Um, Once I found a pathway to go move forward from someone who has the stigma of being formerly incarcerated to being a professional firefighter, I wanted to share that. And so the why I do this is because everyone, people, regardless of who they are, regardless of their backgrounds, regardless of where they come from, they deserve an opportunity for what we call family winning employment, gainful careers, right? Situations so that folks can support themselves, their families, and their communities. And a lot of times the challenge is around access. People just don't know about these opportunities. So FFRP is here to let folks know that, hey, if you want to go help out these wildfires, come on with us.
That's amazing. And I love that terminology and phrase of family winning wages, the ability for folks to not just, survive, but thrive in the
Right.
economy. And we know that, the career of firefighting and even the field of forestry has a tremendous amount of opportunity. We're going to circle back to that.
Okay.
The opportunities that sit at the intersection of firefighting and forestry and the green economy. Before we go there, Brandon, would love for you to just tell us about the process of FFRP. What are you doing with some of your participants and how do you engage them to achieve that family winning wage?
Yeah. So how do we go help folks? What is the work that we do? So at FFRP, we have like a couple of different programs. Our main one is our career training program. Our career training program is a seven-month training program where folks receive in class and in the field training. And what that looks like is they spend half of their time getting all of the certifications that they need to become wildland firefighters, and then they spend the other half actually practicing that work, helping homeowners to reduce the wildfire threat. Um, these folks, it's a paid training program. It's a stipend program. We have some partners through LA County that help us out to go do that work. The Department of Economic Opportunity. And once they finish that program, they come out certified. They come out and also have jobs and careers. So we just graduated 32 people, I think, from Los Angeles County. And all of them have jobs with various agencies, whether it be the state like CAL FIRE or Caltrans, or the federal government like the U.S. Forest Service, or even like locally, like with the San Bernardino and Los Angeles County fire departments. So the whole goal is, one, to train people, one, to provide the people with the opportunity, secondly, to go train them, and thirdly, to go connect them with employers, because we directly work with employers to figure out what do folks need to go hop into these careers and continue advancing into these careers. And so and our programming depends on what your level of I don't what your level of commitment is. So like we have virtual services throughout the state of California, regardless of where you are. If you want to hop into one of our local in-person programs, we have two, one in Southern California, which is Los Angeles County, and one in the San Francisco Bay Area.
That's phenomenal, Brandon. Just the reach and scale that FFRP has been able to grow into across the state, not just around serving individuals, but also, implementing the type of policy change necessary that now allows individuals that are reentering into our community and seeking opportunity a viable path.
Hmm.
The policies that have been changed around licensings and certifications that your organization have advocated for across the state as well. We now can see the fire departments of LA County, San Bernardino, San Francisco now hiring individuals for skills,
Right,
for
exactly.
individuals for the promise that they have and not being held hostage to their past. Phenomenal work, brother.
Yeah, thank you.
How can people be helpful? What are 3 ways that people can support FFRP?
Yeah. So 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 ways that people can support FFRP. There are multiple ways that people can support FFRP. One of the ways that you can support FFRP is one, just by being an advocate. The first thing that we push in FFRP is people are people, regardless of their backgrounds. None of us are the sum of our challenges or our pitfalls in life. So one of the things is just realizing that people deserve second, third, multiple chances so that they can thrive in life. And what does it mean to be an advocate in that space? Also, FFRP continually looks to work and partner with more employers. One of the things I appreciate, Jeff, that I've learned from you and the work that you do is in the past, so many people have hired based on a job title or what you can do, but like really skills-based learning. And so when we think about folks that have worked as firefighters, we want to link with employers because some fields may not actually be firefighting, but the skills are applicable or applicable, right? Folks who are able to use power tools like chainsaws and folks who are able to do um, mathematical calculations. There are so many different areas. So
Transferable skills, right?
transferable skills.
Cross,
Thank
yeah,
you.
absolutely,
Thank
absolutely.
you. There are so many transferable skills, so we want to work with employers. And thirdly, if you are specifically in the wildfire sector and want to be a community partner, partner with us. Partnership looks like donations. Partnership looks like um, bringing a specific skill set. Is interesting. So we just partner with a yoga studio based out of Highland Park, and they provide yoga to all of our participants, right, that are training in the program. And one of the biggest things that FFRP has learned is none of these challenges get fixed in silos, right? What I mean is like none of us can just solve one problem by ourselves. And so whatever contribution that you feel like you can give, FFRP is out here with open arms.
So it's amazing that you've created this platform that, is focused in on not just skills development, employment, but also, empowerment, economic empowerment, where folks now have the resources to actually transform their quality of life in alignment with their own vision. And, you know, holistic empowerment, from a mental health perspective, from a
Mhm.
self-efficacy perspective, and quite frankly, just the things that people need to thrive.
Mhm.
And at the end of the day, I love what you started off with saying is that, what creates the momentum for FFRP is that you recognize that these are people first. Uh,
Right.
so one of the things I also want to do and talk to you about, and this is the last question that I have, Brandon, is as we think about like the future of work and the green economy, particularly as it relates to forestry and wildfire sector, how does that interplay? What things do you
Mhm.
see, in the future that you would love for, FFRP, the graduates of your program, or just people of color in general to know about and get into as they think about the green economy and it relates to your work?
Yeah. So when we talk about the green economy, it's interesting, Jeff, because a lot of folks often think that everybody's talking about climate change, which is real, which I believe the warm is getting hotter and drier. And folks often think that like it's just a science-based thing within themselves. But what you see within FFRP and up and coming organizations is that there's this intersectionality, right? FFRP, we meet at the intersection of um, a climate crisis, a wildfire crisis, a shortage of labor for firefighters and forestry folks, knowing that in the growing future, knowing in the future that is growing, right? Everybody from President Biden, the federal government down, has acknowledged that we need to go put more infrastructure, more focus into these green jobs and these green careers. And what often happens is folks from marginalized communities get left out of these because we often think it's just these science-based things. And while we need to keep growing our communities into those sectors, we also need to realize that there are jobs and careers right here that folks can take and grasp for right now. You know, when you talk about fighting fires, you're talking about an entry-level career making over $70,000 a year, year one. Um, and these careers not only are withstanding for the future with the economy, with the life, just how we know it, these careers have the opportunity to transform people's lives. You know, having a career that you're proud of, gainful employment, you have the opportunity to transform yourself, your community. Um, I remember walking into church in my firefighter uniform, and now the deacons and deaconesses are asking, how can their children hop into these careers? And so the whole thought process is um, organizations like FFRP, the work that you're doing, all of these partnerships we're doing together is just providing access to these communities that are not aware of these traditional communities. And um, and they're open to all.
And that's great. I think, the vision that FFRP has as it relates to ensuring that, people of color, people from marginalized communities are reentering neighbors can be a part of this environmental justice strategy and
Mhm.
movement that is out there by addressing, to your point, the climate crisis, the wildfire crisis, and most importantly, the crisis that we have in our communities that are impacted by just the environmental effects of all of this as well. So, Brandon, I appreciate your time in joining us on our first Be Greater coffee talk with the commissioner. But I also want to make sure that folks understand that FFRP is an organization that is doing the work and deserves to continue to be scaled. So I applaud the county of LA County, San Francisco City County, state of California for investing in a people of color run organization that is serving people of color and broader marginalized communities to do this work. And as we think about the future, we want to continue to invest in organizations that represent the lived experiences, that can design the solutions that are not only just going to make impact for us, but transform our community and challenge it to be greater.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Jeff. And the biggest thing is all of us can do this work together.
Absolutely.